guys, welcome back to Speaking Spiritually, where we give hope to the world every Friday. We are your hosts. I'm Amy, and this is
Felix Lee.
Felix Lee has over 100 five-star reviews on Yelp. He also has over a year-long waiting list to be seen. He reads everybody from regular people to celebrities. So welcome to our episode 2 on angel numbers and signs.
Good to be here.
Excited?
Yes.
All right, we're going to just get right into it.
I love this kind of talk.
Okay, me too. I'm so excited, especially about numbers and angel numbers and signs and symbols that people see. Yes. What can you tell me about that? What are some signs that people would see?
So there are many different signs. There's the basic ones like the butterflies and people, and I'm not downgrading or saying anything negative about it, but a lot of people tend to see flying like birds.
Oh, so flying
or
objects.
Anything that flies. Bugs, ladybugs.
Okay, I've heard
ladybugs. Spirit will do whatever they can to get our attention. And so it varies across the board. Like I've heard a birds of paradise as being a symbol for someone. Like someone had a tattoo of it on their back and they saw it. And it's just like things like that. So the signs are specific to us.
Okay.
The things that matter to us, the sign symbols, the things that took place during special moments and memories of our life, of our loved ones. So yeah, and you just know, people ask me, Felix, was this my father when, and you knew that they knew the answer. They just wanted confirmation. Right. So yeah, if you just trust in that moment, because if you thought it, then that was it.
So if you think that was the sign, then that's the sign.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, Absolutely. You can get confirmation from you with a reading you
or any other medium or psychic. Yeah. Okay. So also what I tell people is it's really important not to keep looking for signs because then everything's a sign and nothing's a sign. And so I know because I did this too when my grandmother passed and I realized everything was just this big glob of, is this her? Is that her? Was that her? So when you do that, you kind of loses the energy. So you want to just allow your loved ones to give you what they know you need.
Okay.
Not what you want, but what you need. There's a big difference, right?
Okay, I love that. So if someone sees a butterfly and they think, oh my gosh, that's my mom. Hi, Mom. It's your mom.
Absolutely it is.
Sending the butterfly.
It's absolutely, the energy of that soul is connecting with them in that way, in that moment.
Okay. Oh, wow. That's amazing. So that brings me, when speaking of butterflies, I wanted to talk about this one story that you gave to my friend Jessica when her dad died. And you told her you're going to see, as your sign, mariposa.
Oh, yeah. I remember in particular, I think they spoke Spanish in that family? Or
yes, they did.
Yeah.
They're Filipino and Spanish, but they spoke Spanish.
Yeah. And so usually I would just see a butterfly and say butterfly. But for some reason, she made me say mariposa.
Okay. So even though they spoke Spanish, the mariposa, she was like, wait, I've never seen that. Like, that makes no sense to me. Is this like, am I really going to see this? Then 2 days later, she's sitting in the car with her mom, and she looks over, and they see a big sign that says mariposa.
Oh,
now, this sign's always been there, but she had never noticed it.
Wow.
Then, I think it was like an hour later, as they were still driving in the car, they looked to the side, and a mariposa moving truck passed them.
That's cool. So it's not, okay, the first sign, oh, did she get it? Maybe. Let's do another one. Boom. Second sign.
Yes.
Sometimes even third or fourth.
Okay, that's how her life is. The universe is always shouting at her. But you said this, and it was just amazing because then she called me right away, and she's like, it made no sense, but now it makes perfect sense.
Well, I love that. And I want to share with you a story. Can I share a story about a sign?
I would love that.
So when I was developing as a medium about 25, 24 years ago, I lived in New York. I lived in the Bronx. And I was running. It was a weekend, and a lot of people are out picnicking, in these little forest areas, little tree spots up by Van Cortlandt Park. So I'm running through, and I'm like, Spirit, I would love to get a message, to get a sign from you. Like, I was talking to my guide, Red Cloud. I said, Spirit, Red Cloud, can you please show me? And he showed me he said blue jay. I heard the word blue jay, and I'm like, but okay, summer, maybe, I don't know. But then a thought came to me that, you're going to see a boy, and his mom's going to say, come here, Jay, and he's going to wear a blue shirt. And I said, ha, that's funny. It was that specific. I'm
in that same moment?
In that moment. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I went running. I'm running. And I'm coming to the end of my run about 45 minutes later. And this kid is on a scooter. and he literally runs into me. I almost knocked him over. I'm a
Oh
big
my
guy.
God.
And I almost knocked him over. He looks at me and says, "I'm sorry." And I look down at him. On his shirt in white with a blue shirt, it says Blue Jays. And
No.
that was the name of his softball or his Pee Wee League team.
Oh, wow.
And I looked at him and I said, "It's okay." And I turned around, walked to the bench, and I sobbed for about 10
Oh.
minutes.
Oh.
It was so powerful and so specific that I got that. And that's one of the first times I realized I'm really hearing these people. I mean, I knew I was hearing them, but you just know now, like, okay, if you don't believe us,
Right.
Felix,
Okay.
then you're not going to believe anything. So that's the moment that it really sank in that I'm hearing these spirits.
That's really confirmation because I wondered that just from our last episode where we
Mm,
talked about intuition versus spirit guides,
yeah.
that I'm like, how do I know if I'm hearing a spirit guide? But well, there's an example right there.
And
He
it
kind of confirmed it for
and
you.
the energy surrounding it that I was feeling was so much love and compassion and like, Felix, we love you. We just want
Aw.
you to believe in yourself, believe in us, trust. And so with that, of course, that's what made me cry. And
Aw.
so that was one of many signs that would come to me.
Okay, well, I love that, and that's one that stuck out to you.
Yeah, another recent one
Okay.
about 2 years ago. I'm driving down the freeway and I thought, I haven't really felt my spirit guide, Red Cloud, in a while. But I know he's with me. I don't need constant confirmation. So I'm driving, and I've made this drive probably 20 times to see my assistant, Jeffrey, who lived out in Walnut Creek. So I'm driving on the freeway, and something just told me, look up. And I looked up, and there's a building. It says, huge letters, Red Cloud.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, I'm sure that wasn't just put up with the last few weeks, because I'd never seen that before.
Wow.
And I'm just like, wow. And I just like, thank you.
I see you. I hear you.
I thank you, Red Cloud. Sorry.
Okay, so that brings me into like, so how you were like, I haven't seen Red Cloud in a while, and then you said that. So is that kind of how when people see, because what people really, really like is when they see like 1111 or 444 or 1008.
And it's all the timing. It's all the timing thing, you know? It's not, like I said, it's not every time. It could be. Mm-hmm. But it's at those moments where it really matters, where you feel it.
So when you ask, so when they see those numbers, it's usually like something that they were just previously thinking about. Say they were thinking like, am I going to get this job or something? And then they see 444. It's usually a sign.
It's absolutely, it can be anything that you feel. And the first feeling first is what I tell people. Trust the first feeling that you have about it. That's it.
Okay.
It's the first impression.
That's your gut instinct.
It is the first impression. It is our gut instinct. We all have it. We all do it. We all get information. How many times have you thought something and then you said, oh, I'm going to change it to this, and then it was wrong?
Yes, all the time.
Your first impression was always right.
Okay, and that's always stuck with me. I think you've always said that in readings. And now whenever I'm talking to people or giving advice to friends, I tell them, well, what does your gut instinct say? What was the first thing your gut instinct said?
Good.
And then I'm like, well, then that's what it was.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what I teach when I'm teaching this in my workshops.
Okay. Oh, really cool. Yeah. So I have another question. Yeah. Do signs and symbols vary across cultures?
Oh, for sure. Just to give an example, I was doing a reading for a Chinese woman, and I'm not familiar too much. I've never been to China. I want to one day go. And I was doing a reading for her, and something simple, I don't even remember what it was, but it didn't mean anything to me. And I said it, and she just started crying.
Aww.
And I was like, oh, and that's why it's so important just to as a medium, you give what you get. And it doesn't have to make sense to me. I think it was something like a bell with red on it, or something like a gold bell with red. And she understood it, and it had this significant, deep meaning to her, to the family, to the history of her family. And, you know, I'm just like, well, I'm glad you understand it. And that's what it's about. It's just about, really, my job is to say everything that I see, hear, and feel.
Okay. Whether people can make sense of it at that moment or not,
absolutely,
you have to say it.
And, you know, of course, there are certain universal symbols.
Oh, so what would the universal symbols be?
Well,
please tell our listeners.
Well, some universal symbols are numbers, like we talked about.
Or animals.
Birds are messengers of the spirit.
Oh my God.
Birds are messengers of the spirit. The spirit world can influence and influences these animals, and birds are among them.
Okay.
And absolutely.
I want to tell you a story real quick because I just thought it was so interesting that my 8-year-old understood this. When we had come back from a reading with you one time and told him that, oh, your Nala, which is his grandma,
Mm.
sends, or like the crows represent her, like if you see them.
Mm-hmm.
But then he was able to say, oh, like, look, there's a crow sent from Nala. Like he understood that it wasn't actually his grandma in the crow's spirit, but it was just
Yeah.
sent from the spirit.
Yeah. Children are closest to the source.
Oh, wow.
They know.
So
they
they
just
can
know.
see.
Yeah, I was driving my little nephew when he was like 4 in the back seat, and they call me Uncle Lee because my father is Felix, so I'm Felix Lee, and I
Oh,
go
and
by
you're by
Lee.
Lee.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he said, Uncle Lee, there's a face on your seat, and I said, really? What's it look like? Who is it? He says, I don't know, but I was in a car accident. And I remember leaving my body and I could see like, oh my gosh, what happened? And I was looking down and I said, wow. I said, do you remember when that happened? He's like, a long time ago. But I'm okay in this life. This life is different. And you're my uncle in this life.
Whoa.
And I just thought, I've never spoken of those things to him,
Right.
at that age. I didn't really, he never heard me talk about these kinds of things. So I just thought that was wonderful to get that, again, confirmation. So children are closest to the source.
Okay, that's really good. So babies, children.
Listen to what they're saying because they're repeating what they're hearing, and they're doing basically what we do as mediums. They say everything that they see, hear, and feel.
Okay.
They just know.
That's so interesting. Well, I have 4 kids, so I'm going to start questioning them. Just kidding.
Don't put them on the spot, but it's we've done it too. You've done it as a child.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. My
Absolutely.
sister did too, and all of like my kids, like when they were babies,
Yeah.
just like laughing in their crib
Yeah.
or waving or trying to touch, and it's like, what's going on there? But I knew what was going on.
Yeah.
So it's not scary.
No.
So just really quick, back to numbers.
Oh yeah.
Because I know it's a big thing for people. So if they see numbers, it is a sign. If they see alternating numbers, does it have to be alternating? Does 111 mean something special?
Well, it all depends on what the numbers mean to that person. Okay. For me, especially like I've studied numerology, numbers mean different things to me. Like 1 is a new beginning, 9 is the end of the cycle. And so when I see certain numbers, the spirit people know my frame of reference for it. So they're going to use my frame of reference to get a message about a number. So for me, it can be the number is the month or the day of a month. Okay. It could also be a special number that pops up. Like I will tell you, my number is 108. I have 2. I have 1008 and 108. And these numbers appear in crazy situations.
All the time? Because some people have numbers appear all the time.
Not all the time, but a lot of the time.
Okay. Yeah. And you know that those are your numbers. You know it's like a wink from heaven.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, without a doubt.
So if like I have a friend who sees alternating numbers constantly, is that just basically like you're good, you're on the right path?
Yes, especially 111. It sort of says, everything is in alignment. Trust us. 111, 1111. And so
that means everything's in alignment.
Absolutely. It means that you are where you're meant to be. Trust the universe. And so, like I said, numbers mean different things to different people. They can be birthdays, anniversaries, jerseys that the loved one used to wear when they were alive. So they can be.
So it's not a coincidence that you're seeing these, because that's what I always wonder. Is it a coincidence or is it really?
I mean, not every time. And the word coincidence, I don't even say that word. That word's not in my vocabulary.
Oh.
Serendipitous. There are times where the number's going to appear, but it's sort of like it has to mean something to you. It has to matter the moment you see it. It has to connect.
Right.
Because I see the numbers all the time, some of my numbers. I don't say every time. I kind of trust and know, but there are certain moments where I'm like, I didn't realize I needed a sign, and then boom, it shows up. Those are the moments that it really matters.
Okay. I feel like whenever I feel like I need to see it, they show up. Or I feel like I'm going through a hard time.
Yes.
And I have told people the same thing. I want to touch on what you said a second ago, that they can't ask for a sign if they're feeling lost, but if they're feeling super overwhelmed and upset, they might not see it, right?
Absolutely correct. We're all, as being human, we go into this vibration of worry, fear, doubt, which actually keeps us from hearing the spirit world. It's part
Oh,
of being human, right? So that's
right.
why we say meditation, laughing, anything that gets your vibration up. When I say raise your vibration, it means anything that puts us in the energy of joy.
Okay.
And it's not something you can fake or pretend. It's something that you have to generate from within yourself. It's there. You
Okay.
know, even in moments of despair, we have access to this place in our soul. And joy is where spirit resides.
Oh, I love that
Absolutely.
joy.
People say, Felix, I don't know how to meditate. How can I connect with spirit if I don't meditate? I said, listen, think of something or someone that brings you joy. Think of a happy memory. You know, anything that brings your energy up, makes you feel good. That's all you need.
Okay.
That can be enough.
Wow, that is really
I
interesting.
learned this a while ago. I thought, oh my gosh, I have 10 minutes to meditate. There's no way. And Spirit said, Felix, just get into the zone. I said, how do I do that? They said, think of something that brings you feelings of joy.
So
And
that
I
would be
said,
your pro tip.
absolutely. Think of something that brings you true happiness or a thought, a moment, a memory that brings you a sense of connection, love, or joy. And everyone has something they can
Right.
think of. And so that is the quickest, fastest way to connect with spirit.
So first you take a deep breath, then you close your eyes and you think of a happy moment in your life.
Yes.
And what do you do
And try
next?
to feel what
Okay.
that moment was like when you experienced it again.
Okay.
Then they can use that vibration of you're working to that place of feeling joy again and give you more.
Oh, wow. Okay. That is so interesting. I'm so happy we're having these conversations.
It's just
They're so good.
I've spirit has told me these things since I was a very young child. And I mean, even my name, Felix, in Spanish, feliz means happy. And of course, nobody's happy all the time, but that is who we are. That joy,
Right.
that is the essence of
We're
spirit.
born like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So we all know how to feel joy.
Right.
For some, it's not easy, but we still know how.
But we can connect
And
and
that's the first step in how I tell people, if you want to be in that vibration of where the spirit resides, that is it.
oh, wow, that is really interesting. Thank you,
You're
Felix.
very welcome.
Well, I
My
feel like
pleasure.
we have a great episode. Good?
I have thoroughly enjoyed this. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. Bye. See you
We'll
next
see you next
time.
time.